What's going on, everybody? My name is Danny K. This is Danny K Crypto, and you're back for another episode of Blockchain Breakdown, where we break down a blockchain in 10 minutes or less. Today, episode number 7, gonna be a little anonymous here and be talking about my personal favorite privacy coin, Monero. So what is Monero, or ticker symbol XMR? Essentially, Monero is a proof-of-work-based anonymous peer-to-peer electronic payment system. Basically focuses on fast, cheap, and most importantly, discrete transactions of value. It was essentially a hard fork, or a fork, I should say, off of a coin called Bitcoin, which I don't even know if it is around anymore, but it is kind of a very similar blockchain protocol to that of Bitcoin. It's not exactly like Bitcoin, but it's very similar in that same kind of blockchain 1.0 currency sense. So what kind of goals or problems does it hope to solve? Well, Monero aims to create a currency that allows for complete anonymity. The Monero community believes in your right to personal privacy in all things, from data collection, location tracking, and most importantly, monetary actions. So how does it solve this problem? Well, in that Bitcoin is kind of a public ledger and has been touted as pseudo-anonymous, essentially meaning that while no one knows who owns what wallet addresses as it stands on the blockchain, there is a way of kind of tracking and figuring out who people are, usually through fiat entry and exit points. However, this is not the case with Monero. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It does not have any type of public ledger. There's no list of transactions. There's no way to see inside your wallet and how much money you have. There's no way to see how much money you've sent or how much money you've received. It's all been basically abolished and hidden in there. It's not stored anywhere. This is basically done around a protocol it's called CryptoNote, and it's basically kind of the backbone of a lot of different types of privacy and encryption platforms. It uses basically ring signature technology that pairs a public key together and then unlinks transactions to each other, making it impossible for an outside entity to track your transaction history. So users will have a public wallet address that they can give out. And every time a transaction is sent to that public address, a new one-time use wallet is created to receive those funds. Your public address will never show that you received or sent funds or be attached to a public ledger in any way. In order for a user to check and see if they have funds in their wallet, they get a secret view key that allows them to scan for incoming and outgoing transactions that are linked to that public address. Only the people with the secret view keys have this ability. Also, furthermore, it uses ring signature technology that allows for mixing of transactions, or shared spend, some call it. So basically, when one sender sends X amount of funds, it also randomly selects another group of users that are also sending funds and, in a way, throws all of those funds into a pot and then redisperses them to the appropriate public wallet addresses. And there's no way to see who sent who what or where things came from because it got sent into this kind of mixing pot, for lack of a more technical term. So, who are some notable figureheads in the world of Monero? Well, I've got a lot of usernames here. There's a guy named Thankful for Today, the Bitcoin Talk forum user from the early days of cryptocurrency. He was actually the initial developer that announced the initial project called BitMonero, which was a forked version of Bitcoin. This, however, was actually kind of poorly received by the community, and he later dropped the project. Shortly following that, an individual by the name of Johnny Mnemonic, I can't pronounce that right, picked up the project and kind of rallied a small community of users to also begin picking it up and develop the project more, and just rebranded it to the name that we know now of Monero. Another notable individual was Ricardo, aka Fluffy Pony. He's one of the current core developers and very active in the Monero and GitHub communities. So what are some of the notable historical events of Monero? Well, all the way back in mid of 2014, Monero was initially proposed on the Bitcoin Talk forum, but later abandoned to only be picked up again by a new team of community developers and renamed simply Monero. In 2016, we saw a rapid expansion and growth of the currency as the demand and need for privacy became very apparent. In January of 2017, a Bitcoin core developer, Gregory Maxwell, created a new algorithm called the confidential transaction algorithm. This, paired with an improved version of ring signatures, actually strengthened the privacy aspects of Monero, making it even harder for detection or for third parties to try and track or trace your transactions in any way. In May of 2017, the operators of a global-wide ransomware known as WannaCry converted much of its ransom-earned Bitcoin into Monero and then updated the ransomware to accept Monero payments. Then in late of 2017, there was a kind of a malware program being detected on a lot of websites and applications where malicious hackers have been deploying this kind of JavaScript Monero miner on the back end of people's web pages or their applications, causing the users, when they're visiting those web pages or applications, to unknowingly have their computer be mining Monero in the background without them being aware of it. And then obviously all of the Moneros that was mined while the computer was at that website would get sent to these hackers' wallets. In January of 2018, a really interesting app was actually released. It was called Bail Block. And essentially it is a non-profit app that allows you to use the unused computing power on your computer or mobile device to have Monero be mined in the background of your system or your device. And that Monero that was mined would go towards paying for individuals of low income that can't afford to pay their bail. So I think that's kind of cool. You see a lot of people that use and exploit Monero's privacy to do kind of bad in the world sometimes, whether it's hacking or the ransomware or things like that. It is kind of nice to see, people using that cryptocurrency for good. I think this Bail Block app is actually a really cool thing because, I don't want to get too much into politics, but I really think that our cash bail system in the United States is pretty unfair, improperly balanced when it comes to people's rights. I mean, a lot of the individuals that are sitting in jails and local jails are only there because they can't afford their bail. So, and they haven't even been convicted of a crime yet. So, I think this is a really cool app. In fact, I actually have it running on my MacBook as we speak. And it's really, it's low impact. You don't really notice it there. Your computer still works fine. So, take a look at it if you want. I think it's like a really cool app, like I said. So just something kind of cool for the world. All of that being said, what are your thoughts on Monero? Do you think that there is room for privacy coins in the world of crypto? Or do you think it's a need, or do you think it's just a hindrance? Do you think it just gives people an excuse to do improper, illegal things? Personally, I'm more on the side of personal privacy, and I think things like this is very important. But I do understand that concern for using it for exploitive natures. But let me know your thoughts on Monero. Again, really appreciate you guys watching to the end. And as always, my name is Danny K. This is Danny K Crypto, and I'll see you in the next one.